You talked this week to the leader of the Taliban.
I did.
And you said it was a good conversation in which you said you both didn't want violence. However, on that same day, the Taliban launched some 50 attacks in Afghanistan, 40 of them in one province. There are many Americans really wondering, and the U.S. struck back against the Taliban. There are many Americans
very powerful,
wondering where the peace part of the peace plan is, and can you trust the Taliban?
So these are warriors. We've been there for 20 years. We're really serving more as a law enforcement group than a military group. We could win that war very easily, but I don't feel like killing millions of people in order to do it. We don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. People are tired. Even the biggest hawks are tired of being there. I had a very good conversation with him. There was a group that formed. And again, you know, they have many tribes and they have many different. It's hard for one. There's not like perfectly one control. I spoke to a certain man who is the leader, but the leader has not, it's not the easiest leadership position.
Structure.
And the structure is, you know, tribes all over the place. A tribe formed and a group formed that was going to attack certain soldiers, Afghan soldiers, and the military heard about it, and the military went and they took them out. That was it. I believe they really want to make a deal. I think after 19, actually going very close to 20 years, they're also tired of fighting, believe it or not. But they are warriors and they are fighters, and that's what they've done for 1,000 years. You know, just ask the Soviet Union, which became Russia, because of Afghanistan. You know, it's a tough place.
You have said that you want to, you know, end this. It's gone on for a long time. But what about the conditions on the ground? Because, you know, General Mattis had a disagreement with you about pulling troops out of Syria and Afghanistan. If your generals tell you...
I was so right.
If the generals say to you, Mr. President, we need more people, not fewer people right now, what will you do?
Well, Mattis said that, and I gave him more people for a short period of time, and it didn't work out. And what we were doing is policing on Afghanistan. As far as Syria, I did pull them out. I pulled them out. We were securing the border between Turkey and Syria. I said, why are we doing that? Turkey's big, Syria's fine. Let them fight their own battles. What are we doing with our soldiers? Getting people killed to secure. Now, the one thing, when I came in, ISIS was all over Syria, all over Iraq, and we don't want them coming to us. And it was a mess. You understand that very well. And I knocked out 100% of the territorial caliphate. 100%. We knocked the whole thing out.
But what about Afghanistan?
No, but just so you understand. So we knocked out the ISIS caliphate in vast amounts of the Middle East. And I did that fairly quickly. When I came, again, President Obama, it was all over the place. When I say we're not doing the borders, we did leave soldiers. We left soldiers because I kept the oil. And I was always against Iraq, going into Iraq. I think it was one of the worst, maybe the worst decision ever made. But I used to say, once they were in there, keep the oil. They never kept the oil. We have an oil area near Syria and in Syria. We kept it. So the only soldiers I have over there, they're guarding the oil. We kept the oil, so we kept the treasure. That's okay.
But if it takes more troops to keep the Taliban from taking over Afghanistan, is that something you would be willing to do or no?
Well, you know, there's a big question about the government of Afghanistan. There's a big question about that whole situation in Afghanistan. We're getting along very well with everybody. We have to get our people back home. It's not fair. We're a police force over there. We're maintaining things. Eventually, we have to leave. We don't want to stay there for another 20 years. We don't want to stay there for 100 years. We want our people to come back home.
All right. Lynette has our next question from the audience about division, really, in politics. Lynette?
Oh,
sorry. Oh, there you go.
Hi, Lynette.
Hi, President Trump. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
From the day you came down the escalator in Trump Towers, I was on the Trump train.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I knew. I like you, too.
And I proudly wear my Trump pin every day of my life.
Thank you. Great honor.
My question is, we are so divided as a country. I have family members who do not speak to me, and recently was told, if you support Trump, you are no longer part of my life. How are you going to bring us together?
So I gave an answer before success, but it's really a little bit more than that, because we've had great success, and there is a division. There's no question about it. Politicians have to be able to be civil. If they're not, you have to fight back. You have to. Otherwise, we're not going to be. There's a movement on, and I call them the radical left Democrats, and it really is the radical left, because we have plenty of Democrats that are terrific, and they want to see, you know, let's get together, let's get things done. There's so many things we could do. We've done a lot. We've done more than any administration in 3 years in the history of our country for the first 3 years. And I say it all the time, and the press doesn't even dispute me, and they would do that. But we could do even so much more. We talked about a great question on the border, and the border question's true, but we should get rid of the loopholes. You can't do that without Democrat votes. I really believe we're going to win this next election, and when we do, the other side's going to say, okay, that's it, let's get along. I really believe that, but we have to win the election. Great question.
All right, Mr. President, we're going to do a quick lightning round here. Short questions, short answers, ideally. This one goes back to coronavirus in the beginning. You are a self-proclaimed germaphobe. In the campaign, before the campaign, you didn't like to shake hands. You changed that. What did doctors...
Well, I'm not thrilled.
Yeah, you're not thrilled. What did doctors tell you? Have you changed anything in the way that you operate?
So, yeah, it's a great question, because I've always felt, I don't know, from the time I was a young guy, I've always felt the concept wasn't good. Then you'd read a lot of medical reports, it's not good. Now, especially, they're saying, by the way, if there was ever a time that you could convince people not to shake hands, this could be it. Okay, this could be it.
Do an elbow.
But you know what I did? You know what I did? I love the people of this country. You can't be a politician and shake hands. People come out, when I leave, I'll be shaking hands with people. They want to shake your hand. They want to say hello. They want to hug you. They want to kiss you. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You have to do that. If I went around, no, I don't shake hands. Can you imagine I'm going to be with a group of people and they like Trump and they come up, sir, thank you very much. I don't shake hands. It's over. I don't care how nicely you say it. The bottom line is I shake anybody's hand now. I'm proud of it. They're people that I love. They're people that I want to take care of. Now, the concept of shaking hands since this, you're hearing a lot of stuff about trying not to shake hands. It hasn't stopped me at all. But it is a little bit of a problem.
You said you had
but I got
your face
over
in
it.
2 weeks.
Well, I was kidding. You're not supposed to, I heard the other day you're not supposed to touch your face. So I went on camera and I said, listen, I haven't touched my face in weeks. Now, obviously, I'm kidding. I said, and I miss my face. And one of the networks said, he said he didn't touch his face. And they show pictures of me. So I don't know. These people.
You have said, about being president, I didn't have to do this. You wanted to do it. What about your old life? Is there any little thing that you miss about your old life?
I loved my old life. The day before I announced I was running for president, that was the best period ever of my life. My company was the strongest it ever was, especially, being in development and real estate all over the world. I built a great company, but it was the strongest because you have times when the markets go bad and then you have to fight and then the markets are good and you're doing great. It was the strongest period of my life. It was sort of the best period of my entire life. And then I announced I was going to run for president. And, the greatest day of your life, they say, is the day before you announce you're running for president. I don't know if anybody's ever heard that, but they do say that about people. But in my case, I won. I won. I saw as an example, they were using numbers, and they were saying how much various people spent to become president. And Bloomberg spent like $550 million. It was in, of all places, the New York Times. And this guy Steyer, we call him Impeachment Tom. How did that work out? Not too good. Tom Steyer spent $250 million. Another. Steve Forbes spent a lot. A lot of people spent a lot of money. And I was sort of in the middle of the pack. This is your own money. I spent $70 million. And they said, lost. Donald Trump became president of the United States, lost. And I said, isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So I love it. You know why I love it? Because we are doing more than anybody can imagine. Even right to try. For years, they wanted to have right to try, where we can use our medicines if somebody's terminally ill. So many things we're doing.
But is there any little thing that you miss? I remember Michelle Obama said she missed, sort of going shopping or walking down the aisles. Is there anything that you can't do now that
yeah. I can't walk down the street now before I could. I was well known. We had a very successful business, and even my show turned out to be successful. I had many top bestsellers and things, you know.
Yeah.
But I could walk down the street, and I could actually walk into a store. And it was, fine. It was not like nobody knew me, but now, today, if I ever suggested that to Secret Service, I think I'm going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue and let's go shopping. So it's a lot different. So I do miss that. I miss that sort of free life. This is not a free life. But I love what we're doing because we're accomplishing more than anybody's ever. I'm viewing it as we're saving this country. This country was going wrong.
Mr. President, very last question. Who is your closest friend in Washington?
Well, I don't want to say because I have a lot of close friends. I really do. You know, I'll put everybody in the spot. I get along great with our vice president. I keep hearing I'm replacing him. He's doing a phenomenal job. He's a great guy and a loyal guy, and he works so hard. Every day I read, he's going to put this one, he's going to put that one, he's going to put... If I did, that would be a great act of disloyalty because he's been great. I speak to him a lot. But I speak to all of the senators a lot. I speak to all of the congressmen a lot. We have great people in Washington, and you have great Democrats, too. I mean, I speak to Democrats also, believe it or not. But we have great, great people in Washington, very smart people in Washington, and it's going to come together. It's going to come together, and it's going to be sooner than you think.
President Trump, we thank you very much, and thank you to our audience.